So let me ask you something. You think horror movies are scary, right? All those jump scares, ghosts, and creepy dolls? Cute. But what if I told you that real life, like thousands of years ago, was way, way more terrifying than any movie you have ever seen? For real. Yes, we are talking about ancient civilizations that would make the Saw movie look like a children's cartoon. Today, we are diving deep into five ancient societies that were absolute nightmares to live in. So grab your popcorn and maybe a pillow to hide behind it. Let's get started. First up, let's talk about the Aztecs. These guys were intense. Imagine a society built completely on blood. They didn't just do human sacrifice as a special occasion thing. No, no. For them, it was like a daily 9 to 5 job. They believed their gods needed fresh human hearts every single day just to make the sun rise. No heart, no sunlight. Simple logic, right? If you lived in the capital city, Tenochtitlan, you were either watching a sacrifice or you were the sacrifice. The numbers are just insane. In 1487, for one temple ceremony, they apparently sacrificed 80,000 people in just 4 days. 80,000. That's like emptying out an entire cricket stadium for a festival. You think that's wild? Hold on, because what they did next with the bodies is where it gets even crazier. They didn't just bury the victims. Nope. They put their skulls on these massive racks. Imagine a huge wall, but instead of bricks, it's made of thousands and thousands of human heads. The biggest one had over 1,000 skulls. Not exactly the kind of home decor I would choose, I'm sure. The actual sacrifice was a whole production. They would march the victims up these huge temple steps. 4 priests would hold them down, and then one guy with a super sharp knife would slice open the chest and just yank, pull out the still beating heart. And if that wasn't enough, some priests would wear the victim's skin. And guess what the rich folks did? They ate the arms and thighs of the sacrificed warriors in a fancy ceremonial meal. Talk about the power of lunch. Now let's travel across the world to meet the Spartans. You've probably seen the movie 300 and thought, wow, these guys are cool, isn't it? Well, the reality was way more messed up. From the moment Spartan baby was born, it was judged. If it was weak or sick, they would just leave it in the wilderness to die. No second chance. Sparta was basically a military factory. If you were a boy, your only purpose in life was war. At age 7, they took you from your family and threw you into a training program called the Agoge. Think of it as a school, but instead of math and history, you learn how to fight, steal, and take pain without ever complaining. But wait, how did Sparta even function if all the men were just soldiers? That is where the Helots come in. The Helots were old class of enslaved people who did all the farming and all the work, and they outnumber the Spartans like 10 to 1. So how did the Spartans keep them under control? Simple, pure terror. Every single year, the Spartans would officially declare war on these unarmed poor slaves. They had a secret police of young warriors who would go out at night and just assassinate random helots just for practice. It was their final exam. Killing an innocent person was literally a part of their graduation ceremony. This wasn't just messed up, it was state approved murder to keep everyone terrified. Next on our horror tour is Mesopotamia. Complaining about a traffic fine? Are you? Be glad you weren't living here. Their law system, the famous Code of Hammurabi, was built on one simple idea: an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. And they meant it literally. If you broke someone's bone, the government would break your bone. Here is a crazy one. If a builder built a house and it collapsed and killed the owner's son, the builder's own son would be executed. Justice was just cold, hard revenge. And of course, if you're rich, you could often just pay a fine. If you were poor, oh boy, your options were basically death or getting a body part chopped off. So, you think your job has high pressure? Okay, try being a doctor in Mesopotamia. If a surgeon operated on a rich patient and the patient died, they would just chop off the surgeon's hand. One mistake and your career is over forever, along with your ability to, hold things. Execution methods were super creative too. We are talking burning alive, impalement, or if you are really unlucky, being thrown into a pit of lions. Here's the funny part. These same people gave us the world's first writing, cities, and governments. So they were basically pioneers of civilization, who also pioneered really gruesome ways to die too. A very mixed bag. Alright, let's head to ancient Egypt. Pyramids, pharaohs, golden tombs, and pulling brains out of your nose. Yup. The Egyptians were obsessed with the body, especially after death. And the mummification process was a real horror show. To get the brain out, they would stick a hook up your nose, scramble your brain into mush, and then just pull it out piece by piece. Super gross. They thought the heart was the center of intelligence, so they left that untouched. Yeah, not their best guess, I believe. And their medicine when you were alive wasn't much better. Got a nasty cut? Let's rub some crocodile dung on it. I'm not making this up. It's all up there, written. And the royal family? It was a genetic disaster. To keep the bloodline pure, pharaohs married their own sisters and daughters. This led to generations of rulers with all sorts of health problems. All of us know the famous King Tut, for example, had a club foot and malformed bones, all because his parents were brother and sister. I repeat, brother and sister. But the terror didn't stop when you died. If you were a servant to a pharaoh, guess what? When he died, you died too. They would kill high-ranking officials, servants, and even animals to be buried with the pharaoh. Because, who wants to be a king in the afterlife without room service? Would you? Finally, let's hike up the Andes mountain to meet the Incas. While other civilizations sacrificed prisoners of war, Incas did something different. Good people? I don't know. The Incas preferred to sacrifice the best and the most perfect offering they could find. Yes, sacrifice. Children. They believed kids were the purest beings, so they made the best gift for the gods. It was a huge state-run system called Capacoca. When an emperor died or a disaster struck, they would select perfect children, sometimes years in advance. These kids were treated like royalty, given the best food, the finest clothes, everything. But it was all just to prepare them for a long, grueling march up a freezing cold mountain, where they would be left to die. The way they died was just heartbreaking. Some were drugged with corn, beer, and left to slowly freeze to death from hypothermia. Others were strangled or killed with a blow to the head. The cold, dry air preserved their bodies so perfectly that when archaeologists found them centuries later, they were like little frozen dolls. Scans even showed that some of the children actually woke up for a few moments right before they died, meaning they were aware of what was happening. I can't even imagine how terrifying that must have been. Just like in Egypt, when an Incan ruler died, his wives and servants were often forced to die with him to keep him company in the afterlife. The emperor dies, and it's a group exit for the whole crew. Human sacrifice on an industrial scale, state sponsored murder as a final exam, laws that would chop off your hands for a mistake, brain pulling, and leaving children to freeze in the mountains. Suddenly, our modern day problems seems pretty small, don't they? Our biggest worry is the Wi-Fi going down, not being chosen as a blood tax for the sun god. Such a good life we have now. What do you say? So, what do you guys think? Which civilization was the absolute most terrifying? Drop a comment below and let me know below. And if you like this trip into history's dark side, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe for more crazy stories from the past. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and be glad you live in this century. See you next time.